Good evening and welcome back. What time is it? 7:07. It's been a hell of a day. I'm fighting a migraine right now, but I wanted to chat with you guys, give you some updates, show you some cool shit, see if I can survive this without losing my marbles. And the kids are in the bathtub, so it means I got about 5 minutes worth of quiet. So, talked with you yesterday about F-bomb. Moved two out of the way. Based on what I talked about yesterday, I completely changed my mind, and I put the motors facing back up. I did it the other way, and the flight controller got a little weird. I don't know. Whatever it was, it didn't like them being upside down. As soon as I flipped them back up and put it in the air, boom, back to normal. I got to do some more testing. It's been raining on and off, so I only got one quick flight outside just to make sure that it flew well. And I tell you what, this thing rips. For a brushed quadcopter running a 550 milliamp, whatever the hell battery it is I put away that I showed you yesterday, it goes great. The only downfall is, other than you have to set a timer. It doesn't have any flashing lights. It doesn't warn you. There's no on-screen display, any of that. I don't know if I could even do that. That would be kind of cool. But roughly, I'd say 4.5 minutes of flight. And again, I have to do some more testing with it. The battery wasn't completely charged. I just wanted to get out there. I was very impressed with how quick it is, how agile. No complaints. Nice, simple, clean build. As you can see, the only wires that I haven't done anything with yet, not that I really can, is just the 4 on the bottom. You can see the plugs inside there. Just a couple wires. Not much you can do with them. Yeah, so I'll try this with other props. I may end up swapping out the camera at some point and doing like a 3-point mount with a camera, because this camera's got some days on it. It's older, so we'll see, but it works good. So yeah, F-bomb is back. F-bomb is a beast. Not an acro flyer. This one's just a tiny whoop board. I think there is acro in it. It just doesn't fly well, so no worries. Just a yard cruiser, show off, that kind of thing. Introducing OJ, aka the Juice, aka the Gap Killah. This is not the way that it's going to stay. Brian, that's coming over tomorrow, has a 3D printed canopy for me that's going to be orange. I already swapped over the frame, as you can see. I've had this for a while. It was pretty simple. The only thing that was a pain in the balls, other than the fact that everything is tiny, is, if you can see in the battery tray there, underneath it, or quote above it, is the receiver. They use an external DSM2 or DSMX, whatever the hell it is, receiver. And I took the thing apart and made sure I bound it, which was cool. My buddy Josh helped me. He sent me a link for the new beta flight, so I downloaded the new beta flight, and like I said, as soon as something new, I kind of struggle with it and get overwhelmed easily. That's just me. That's anxiety for you. He helped me set up through Betaflight to get into bind mode. The receiver is built into Booger inside the board, so there's nothing external. So that is a plus. If I were, there's the talk back and forth between the Mobulus 6 and the Meteor 65, same size, 22,000 kV, 19.5. I like the fact that it's all in one board and you don't have any extra parts, but it fits. I had to shave just a tiny little piece. I can get my finger in there, just right there, just for the big plug on that thing. But it sits there, it stays, it ain't going anywhere, it can't fall out. I just gotta tuck some wires and stuff back in. I'm uploading a video now. It's 41%. I didn't do anything extravagant. It's not really tuned at that point. And instead of flying it with these props, I decided to fly it, I forget what they're called, AZI props. That's what these guys are. And somebody had mentioned that they're great with the higher KV motors in one of the reviews, and they sucked ass on the lower KV. And I definitely experienced the same thing, as you'll see in the video. It gets up, it goes, it's quick, but it takes a little longer. It's kind of like turbo lag in a sense, where it takes a little while for it to spool up, and then you get the top end, but it's not there. It works really well on the higher kV. The more I stare at this thing, man, I'm just fucking amazed by the frog, the booger look. Anyway, so I was a little disappointed with that. It flew great. I adjusted the PIDs a little bit. And for you new guys, CyberDoc, the PIDs are where you tune. It's basically what's going on now, predicting the future, and then the D is what loops it back to keep everything in check. So you got the now, the future, and then the let's bring it back. So adjusting those helps it fly more dialed in instead of kind of sloppy and wonky. You can get it to fly the way that you want. So when you dig into a turn, it kind of locks itself in like it's on a racetrack, that kind of thing. If, like I said, if you're new to this, simple description. And there's lots of videos out there on it. But Brian, Drone Tread on Me, is coming down tomorrow. He's got a whole fuck ton of parts. He's finally got my motors and stuff. So I can finish / start Sweet Tooth and get that on the road. But I did, like I said, I did a quick vid. Just chopped up a bunch of the clips that I got just to show you guys this thing flying around. This came with a piece of foam. Very hard to see. I don't know if you can see that. No, there you go, on the bottom. It came with a piece of foam attached to the board, and it sits on the bottom of the camera. And I made sure I put a little glue on there. I don't know if the new canopy Brian printed me is slightly different, if it's a little higher or whatnot, but that will definitely keep the jello away. I didn't notice any in the FPV other than the props that I had. They fit. They were, oh god, where the hell are they? Oh, never mind. So they were just red versions of these, and there's no way to get in there. The prop tool sucks, so I bent the shit out of them. So I'm sure there's a little bit of jello in the video, and it's only freaking glue, only because of that. Other than that, the thing flew super smooth. I had to adjust the super rate. It comes very low. I think it was 0.70. And your super rate is when you're flying and you snap the stick, how fast it will do a flip. So I had to go from what I think was 0.70 to 0.95 to get it where I wanted to on roll and pitch. And yaw was a little less. I think I left it at like 85. And I think I went up just a touch on the RC rate on yaw, just to get it to feel a little responsive, at least for the way that I fly. So of all the videos I've watched, it showed 2 antennas. This one is supposed to be your video reception, which so far I've had no problem with, but again, I will test more. And if it sucks ass, I'm going to do that mod where you cut it, put a regular antenna ULA one on there. And this was supposed to be your receiver wire. So what is it doing if I have, where the hell did it go? If I have my receiver underneath. So is that just a formality that they all come like that? And it's not using whatever one it has? I don't know. But it is a super cool looking quad. It does no justice. Like, I think the lenses are the same size. So you see this guy, it's got a bigger kind of glass lens eyeball thing. Look how tiny this is, and let's see if I can compare them together. See how small? It's probably the same size, because that little inner circle on that one is probably all that this is. And it just uses a different lens. But I was pleased with, and it's very dark and gloomy, and like I said, it was on and off raining, so it handled well with the light that was there. The light transition was good as I shot underneath the car a couple times. Excuse me. So I was very, very happy with it. There will definitely be a lot more videos of this guy. It came with 4 batteries. I don't know if that's a new thing. I thought it only came with 2. And it comes with the ones with the longer leads because this had a much shorter connector. So I just added an extension so I could run. And it kind of looks goofy, but F it. I might use a little zip tie type thing to hold it down. But I can run my longer Tiny Whoop HV batteries with this, and then I can use the ones that it comes with. I'm not super concerned with weight. If it's too light, to me it flies like ass. So with a little extra weight, it'll have a little more momentum when you do a punch or a flip through the tree and whatnot. So yeah, you got OJ. And you're going to say, well, why don't you have orange props on it? You know, if I'm being the OCD nutcase that I am. You ever heard of a blood orange? It's a funny color orange that looks like blood. So I have the blood orange props to go with the OJ theme. And it's kind of rounds like an orange. And then, like I said, this thing's going to be a gap killer. This will be like a tiny whoop on steroids where it'll have the stability. I think it'll fly a little bit more strategic versus this guy because of the much more power that this one has behind it. So going through the little things in the trees and stuff like that, I think will be a little bit easier with this one. So yeah. Oh, and this also has OSD, which is super cool. And I love the fact that I can use the SpeedyBee app here on the phone, and I can go in and then you can adjust. And one thing I forgot, which you'll see in the video, is this Spectrum doesn't have RSSI. So you'll see the thing blinking. I think it's on the left side, somewhere like right here. 0 because it sees no signal. So I got to remove that. But you can literally take and adjust and move where you want them to do through the phone. And then I believe it's the same as the other one where you kind of middle stick here. You can't remember if it's this way or up. And then you can access all of your tuning. You can change the VTX, the video transmitter signal, so you can get a better signal, or if you're flying with other people and you need to, man, the girls are loud. You need to change channels so you're not cutting into other people's stuff. I really, really find that super cool, and I kind of was against the on-screen display before because I thought it was a distraction. But with these little guys, even though it beeps when it goes down, or I have it on a switch so it beeps, it's not super loud, and I don't think I can make it any louder because the motors or the ESCs are super small. It would help, you know, if it's super quiet or it's super close and you kind of had an idea, and both of them do it. But yeah, I'm debating. I have to see the other frame if it's got any transparency to it. I have these cool little LEDs. Let's see if you can see it here. It looks weird. It's got a little capacitor on it and this long wire that's not conductive, which makes no sense. But I'm debating on putting this behind the cowl, maybe because it color changes on its own. So I was debating on sticking it inside here somewhere and gluing it down and attaching it to the battery to give a cool effect inside here. It's not going to really draw anything on it, and I think it'll look cool at nighttime because we do like to race these at dusk or at my buddy Mike's house, even under the street light, but it'll be cool, especially if it goes down. Then you'll definitely find it. So yeah, stay tuned. I appreciate everybody tuning in. The micros are just growing and growing over here. So I will definitely be doing some more side-to-side with these guys to compare, you know, what I think of both. I am very pleased with both so far. I like the difference in looks a lot. The canopy's growing on me because it covers everything, protects everything. If it crashes and it happens to go in water, this may protect, especially if it's only a little bit in. The custom aspect of it, where you can paint this any color you want. You can add LEDs poking through the outside. If you get a clear, transparent canopy, which I'm pretty sure they make, then hell yeah, slight frost over it or something like that, or glow-in-the-dark paint that's still translucent, and then an LED inside would look super cool, especially like a little UV one. Yeah, that would be super cool. So stay tuned. I'm taking Brian over to the Town Farm Hill where I shot the Journey last weekend, and he's going to work on flying and practicing some stuff and bringing his 6S Emax Buzz that we've worked on a bit, and let him check out that place. I'm debating if I want to bring any of the micros, depending on the wind or whatnot. But if you see where I stand by the cars, if you go down into the valley and then back up, there's a cool little section to go through the trees and stuff like that. So I may do that. And that makes it easy when you're carrying stuff when you got the little cases. And I think I showed this, but it's finally, Brian printed me this case. It's kind of cool. It's kind of rubbery. This off here. So OJ fits in his, it's like his orange peel. So you got it. It goes in there. It obviously pushes down. I got props. Back it up a little. All kinds of different props. The batteries that I got, the charger that it came with, the screwdriver, all that cool stuff. And it looks super cool in there. And then once the top is on and the black, Brian said more it looks like a Halloween or a pumpkin versus OJ right now, which is kind of funny. But yeah, so that's what's up. Stay tuned. You'll see a little video of this thing ripping around. And again, it will be much more punchy, I think, once I fly it with these props. I think they're the Gemfian. I forget what the hell they're called. Oh, got it in there. Yeah, I'm beat. I'm going to go relax. Enjoy your Friday evening. Peace out.